Welcome everybody to the 4th garage tour video. And today it is going to be one heck of a long video because we have a whole 50 cars to cover. And yeah, a lot has changed since the last garage tour video. We did it back in November. I had around like 35 plus cars back then. And yeah, we've gained a lot with the new updates that have come out. There's been a lot new cars released and a bunch of new stuff, as well as the fact that we've also lost a couple cars. Some cars may not still be here because, you know, they just had to gone because, you know, they just may not have worked out. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to be highlighting 3 things for each vehicle. I'm going to be covering what they replicate in real life because each GTA vehicle is its own version of a replication in what exists in real life, and I will, you know, if I don't get it properly, just, you know, correct me in the comments because I may not be able to hit each car correctly since there's so many and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to be, you know, just so you guys could get a bit factual because I never usually go over that in my videos and stuff, so I might as well say that now. I will also be going over, like, you know, what I think about the car, the specs, how it handles the performance, and if it's worth it or not. And then I'll be going over if it means something to me, like, you know, if it's been in previous videos, if it's famous, you know, what it really means to me. So yeah, we will start off with the Eclipse Towers here. Now, this is the first ever garage I ever had. And, you know, it's the OG garage for this game. You kind of have to have one of these. Everyone owns the Eclipse Towers, practically, if you're rich enough. And we are in. So, if you haven't guessed it, this is practically the hypercar garage. This is like the show-off garage that I love to, you know, it's the golden one. It's the one, my prized possession. I'm proud of everything in here. And immediately, you're going to notice the rainbow-colored cars over here. Some people think that's like I copied Louis Caliber with that and stuff, but no, this has always been a thing. You could go check previous garage tour videos. It's just my way of like the OCD of like organizing colored cars because it just boggles my mind to have a bunch of colored things scrambled all over a garage. So yeah, and I love the way how it all worked out too because each color is perfect for each car in my opinion. So we're going to start from this side, okay? And right here we have the Pegassi Osiris, aka the Pagani Huayra in real life. Now, if you remember, this thing actually had a metal with candy red paint job on it before with the spoiler. I used to like it, but now I redid it with a glossy black. It's got really nice pearlescent color, if you could see it. But yeah, I made it a lot more stealthy, a lot more mean, and it's got the custom tires, and without the spoiler, I actually like it. This thing I just love it this way a lot more. My friend Alex Zuberger kind of gave me the idea for this. We formed a little Osiris squad called Team Osiris, aka Halo reference if you get that. But yeah, that's pretty much the car. I would recommend it, 1.9 mil. It's always been a highlight, especially with these doors like that. But yeah, we're going to quickly hop out. Up here is the Trafade Adder, aka the Bugatti Veyron in real life. And what's interesting is that this thing actually has a lot of things and little curves from the Bugatti Chiron, which was released earlier this year. But this car in-game came out in 2013, so that, you know, it's not physically possible. But anyway, if you're wondering what my spec for this car is that it used to be black. It's had many changes. But right now, it has this white with golden, and it does look like a poo brown and stuff. But what I was going for is basing off the Gold Rush Rally Panda, as you can see on the screen right there. And, I mean, the fact that I've dealt with this car being black, I just really like it in white now, because it's good for change, you know. It kind of brings the car back to life if you stop driving it for a while. But, yeah, that's pretty much that. Next up is the Grotti X80 Proto. Now, this car is literally the game changer for this game. I mean, it kind of came out of nowhere, honestly. It's based off of the Ferrari F80 concept, I believe, which is kind of interesting because no one really has ever heard of that car. You've maybe seen pictures here and there. I'm definitely glad it's added to the game, and this is like the new OP vehicle that you should own if you're a rich man because you got doors that go up like that. You got customizable interior. I love my spec that I put on this. It's got like an ice white with red lining. I love the wheels that they gave it. The all-around design, GTA did a pretty good job on it since I'm usually like not exactly the biggest fan on how GTA designs their cars. They did a really good job on this one, I must say. You got the Spitfire that I can't demonstrate right now because obviously I'm not driving it, but it's insane sound. I love that. The whole sound of the car is awesome, and I'm not sure about the little springs right there, but honestly, whatever gives this car more detail is better, so I dig that. I would say the Grotti X80 Proto is a worth it buy if you have the money for it, that is, because this thing is quite the expensive vehicle. Moving on, we have the Dubsta 6x6 based off of the Mercedes AMG 6x6. Now, yeah, I used to drive this thing all the time. It's been here for a while. I had my Dubsta Madness series, which ended because, you know, the all-around vehicle kind of died and faded off. But obviously, if you don't remember, it was painted white with chrome secondary. I decided to kind of update it and give it a whole new feel to it because this car, I never drove it or anything, so I wanted to change it up. I got new off-road wheels on it that I didn't have before. I got silver now, and then I have metal secondary, which kind of gives it a lot more elegant look to it, and I like it better than white. Here we have the Insurgent. And this is my Navy Insurgent, as I like to call it, based off of the Gurkha, I believe it's the closest thing, or the Marauder. Actually, I don't even know if I said that right, but yeah, most of you don't know that. But yeah, pretty much off of the Gurkha, and I must say that you may not think that owning one of these is worth it, but I think it is, because the regular Insurgent that has the gun on top of it is a Pegasus vehicle, and when it's a Pegasus vehicle, just feel like driving, having, you know, it doesn't instantly come to you. You have to drive to it. You have to call it in all the time. It gets annoying, and you never use it. This, on the other hand, is insane to bash other cars in. It's insanely bulletproof, has great health and everything, pretty fast. But yeah, it is the strongest, like undoubtedly one of the strongest trucks in this game, I must say. But yeah, so we're going to move on to the Rainbow Row right here. And we're going to start off with the Vapid FMJ, clearly based off of the 2017 Ford GT, if you didn't catch that already. The way I did mine was a lot like my Bullet. It was kind of like Golf themed, if you know what the Ford GT with the Golf livery and stuff. And it works perfectly with the orange brake calipers. So yeah, this is straight out an updated version of my old Bullet that I owned. And I must say, this thing is really well designed. Now, I said this is based off of the Ford GT, but you also have the Aston Martin Vulcan on the front, which actually works insanely well than I would think it or imagine it would work. Probably my only real problem is that the spoiler, I feel like it could be extended out more to cover, like, the sides of the car. The little winglets, having it being right in the middle and stuff, kind of bothers me. And another thing is that I personally see Ferrari 488 in the back, if you know what that is, the back taillights a lot. Some of my friends don't really agree, but I personally see that, even though, yeah, it's opinion-wise. I really see the taillights of that in the back. But yeah, all around great vehicle, great for price, not bad pricing at all, really, considering the other stuff in this game. It's a worth it buy. And now we have the P-Fister or Fister 811, depending on how you want to say it, really, based off of the Porsche 918, clearly. And when I first saw pictures or renderings of this car, I was really not sure about it. Like, the whole front end, how it's kind of, like, lifted up, and the smushed headlights, and the way it's a bit shaped. Like, the 918 is a lot more lower and sleeker, versus this thing is just kind of a giant hog. I called it the maple bar in one of our long hauls, and you could honestly see the shape of a maple bar, if you know that donut that I'm talking about right there. But what really makes this car actually good for me is the way I designed it, based off of the acid green 918 that Salamandrin has. It looks really good in that, and a lot of people in our crew have a different colored version, which makes it all around way cooler than it originally is. I wouldn't suggest that if you like are running low on money, I would not suggest that I would say waste it on this car, because it's not the most worth it thing in the world, but it is, however, better than I thought it would be. It's a lot more useful, and I'm not sure about this spoiler. I really don't know how I feel about this, but, like, you know, the whole halo ring in the back, but, you know, whatever at this point. So now we have the Turismo R, and this is quite a controversial car based on what it's based off of. Now, immediately you would say it's based off of the Ferrari LaFerrari, but think about it this way. The Ferrari LaFerrari is supposed to be a downright competitor against the McLaren P1, which is clearly this thing right next to me. But this car does not seem that much better than this in any way at all. And I feel like what GTA needs to do is they need to add a straight-out replicated, updated version of the LaFerrari like they did with the T20 right here for the McLaren P1. Then you could have your holy trinity right here with the 918 P1 and LaF, because this thing does not really compete against its two fellow mates next to it. So yeah, one thing that is great about this car is the handling. It is known for its insane grip that it has around the corners. You could full-speed corners in this thing, and it will just master them. But yeah, clearly, yeah, I would say people originally thought this was based off of the P1 in the LaFerrari, and it pretty much is, but I feel like they need to update it in sense. Now we have the big boy right here, the Progen T20, and obviously if you didn't know, it's clearly based off of the McLaren P1, there's no doubt about it. If you didn't remember my Progen T20 from before, it used to have a black secondary and lined wheels with orange. But now I made it a lot more clean. I took that off, and then I took off the lined wheels, and I personally love this. It makes the car so much better for me. You might think it just looks more stock or just kind of looks lame in a way, but I think this is a lot more clean, unique. I like my cars to be a bit different and special, and I think this gives it a really unique, nice look to it. Obviously, it's definitely a worth it car. It has the spoiler that goes up. It has doors that are not politically correct to the McLaren P1 doors, but, you know, scissor doors, you know, it's still cool. But yeah, either way, I must say, it's an all-around great vehicle. I'm sure I've seen a lot of these in this game. A lot of people own it. It's a very popular car. And finally, we have probably one of the oldest vehicles in this garage, my overflawed Entity XF. And this is based off of the Koenigsegg Agera R or Agera or maybe CCX. I'm not sure about that. I don't think there's much in there. But yeah, if you haven't watched any of the garage tours before, the story behind it is that we call it the crew entity because almost everyone in this crew that owns an entity painted it this color, which is in fact crew color. And then, you know, we all match, and the only difference is that we have different wheels and spoiler or not. And I like the chrome and black wheels that I have on mine. This car is actually like only $700K base price, so it's pretty cheap for a supercar or hypercar, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, it still gets the job done. I have to keep this thing because it's just, you know, it's my baby. This thing is legendary. We are going to move on, and I'm going to try to fly through each garage as quick as possible because this is one heck of a long video. Props to you if you make it all the way to the end. Put it in the comments down below if you make it all the way to the end. And we're going to go in garage order. So we saw the first ever garage, which was the Eclipse Towers. Now we're going to my second ever one, which is the Richards Majestic. And that is my sports car garage that I like to keep my main sports cars in. Bam. We are in here. Yeah, this thing is majorly rainbow color coordinated. This garage has always been rainbow, and this side is a bit sketchy compared to the other one, and that's just because I have to work with what I have. Obviously, I don't paint my cars just so that they could be rainbow. I just kind of organize them to try to be as rainbow as possible, if you get what I mean. So we're going to start on this side again with the Dubachi Massacro, based off of the Aston Martin Vanquish, and I also see some Ferrari F12 in the front here clearly. And my personal opinion is that it's a worth it car. I think I've always thought that the back of this thing is a bit small and skinny and kind of smushed compared to how big this front end looks. But either way, the front end is beautiful for this car. I love the red because I tried to base mine off of a Ferrari instead of thinking it was more of an Aston Martin at the time. And next up is clearly a hypercar. And this car has always been kept in this garage, and you might wonder why isn't it in the other one, and I don't know. It's always been in here, and I think this is also my Lambo garage. That's why I keep it in here. If you were to give me the question of, out of all cars in your garage, if you had to keep one, what would it be? It would in fact be this car, and this thing is just probably one of my favorites in terms of design, looks. It has great handling, great speed, performance, and everything. It is the all-round sick car for a base price of around $700,000 to $800,000, and that's so much of a better deal compared to other stuff in this game right now. So yeah, based off of the Lamborghini Veneno with some Sesto Elemento triangles and exhaust in the back or air vents. And it is just great. It's been this color. I've had it since literally the day it came out in the High Life DLC. This thing is never leaving. It never is. And next to it is the Vaca, a car that is way more downscaled and a car that I personally have a lot of problems with that people would ask why I own this. Because if you don't know, this car is, well, first of all, it's based off of the Lamborghini Gallardo with McLaren MP4-12C side and, in fact, Lamborghini Aventador tail, which they still haven't added a perfect Lamborghini Aventador replica in this game, which I still think they should. But either way, The main problem is the handling of this car is absolute crap. It gets a lot of wheel spin, and then, yeah, it just does not have great cornering. And I do have problems with the way it's designed. It's when you combine 3 cars like that, especially the McLaren, which has completely different shaping compared to the Gallardo, you end up with something a bit funky, a bit of a weird hybrid here that I wouldn't exactly recommend. But either way, it's a Lambo. I have to own it. It's a sick sports car, undoubtedly. And it's one of my first ever sports cars I've ever owned, in fact. So yeah, right over here, we have the Comet. And immediately, you could judge me on the way I designed this car. I personally think that the rear spoiler is actually really cool, because the way it just stands up so much, if you design it in a race spec, it's really nice. So yeah, based off of the classic Porsche 911, no real 911 in specific. I feel like they need more different types of 911s in this game. But either way, yeah, I have kind of the cheeky wheels, I would say, but like from a side point of view, I like it, gives it a pimp look. And then I have the racing front splitter. I have the back tow hook and everything. So yeah, I call it my little lime green bean machine. So after that, here is the legendary Obey 9F Cabrio. And if you have not recognized this car, this debuted in my Day in the Life number 3 video, I believe, yeah. And it's beautiful. It is, in fact, very beautiful. The color of it is a hot pink mixed with the dark blue, purple. It's like a bubblegum cotton candy color. And then you kind of have to have the spoiler on this car, in my opinion, because without it, it's way too round. It looks like a little bug. And I love the Cabrio version. I love to mess with the roof. It looks really good with the roof up. I like the carbon hood right here. Then the wheels, I just kind of blacked them out with classic ones. But yeah, this car is definitely a keeper. It's probably the all-round recommended cheap sports car that you could buy for a starter. It's really good. If I didn't forget, yeah, clearly based off of the Audi R8 Spider. So yeah, here is the Bravado Banshee based off of the Dodge Viper, either GTS or whatever, the older generation Viper, that's for sure. And what I based mine off of is, in fact, a replicated Bravado Banshee in real life. So this is some crazy like Inception weird crap right here. But yeah, that's what I based it off, and I love the look of it and all. And it's kind of cool knowing because someone really replicated this, in fact, car in real life. And the thing has a great sound, I must say, and its handling, it's known as the drift car for this game. If you want to have, I mean, it's actually pretty difficult to drift around, but pretty good for that and all. Great handling, not the fastest or anything, I would say. And here is the Bullet GT, and yeah, you guys remember me talking about the other Ford GT I had, but this one's based off of the 2005 second gen Ford GT. And yeah, like I said, I have a Golf theme for it with the Golf type livery stuff and painted like that. And I must say, this thing is all around one of the best vehicles to just cruise in or just drive for fun, because I actually really love the way this car handles. I have no problems with the looks. It's actually, yeah, it's one of the few cars in this game where it just looks beautiful. They really didn't mess up on it. And I think it's a really worth it car. The only big problem is that this thing is classified under super. This thing really should be a sports car, but instead, for some reason, it's a supercar, which means that with like stuff that's out like the McLaren P1 or the T20 that's out right now, it can't compete against that because that's way too good. So it really never gets used in races or anything. It's like in the middle class where it can't fit in. It really should be a sports car because then it could dominate in that class and it'd be awesome. But yeah, that's one thing that's really sad about this car. And next is the Pegassi Infernus, the third Lamborghini in here. And this one used to be blue for the longest time with a different spoiler and wheels and stuff, but I changed it up. It's got lime green now with a chrome secondary. Yep, that's chrome. And then I really love the wheel choice for it. Clearly based off of the Lamborghini Diablo, if you didn't know. It's got like freaking Pokeball taillights, which a lot of people call it for that. This thing, too, is a supercar, so that means that it's also like the Bullet over there. It's a really old supercar, so it really can't compete against the newer stuff, so it really doesn't get used that much. And I wouldn't really recommend this car, in my personal opinion. It looks a bit ugly in the way the physics of it, but, I mean, it has its legendary aspects. This thing was in GTA 4. I mean, I still love it from there. But moving on, we will have my Voltic. Now, this thing is new, and you may wonder, why the heck is it? Why do I own this? To be honest, it's a really fun car. Based off of the Tesla Roadster or Lotus Elise, you could say it's a really fun car because it's electric, so that makes it unique. It's just really fun to drive around. I like this dew yellow that I have on it with the carbon hood and then the wheels especially. It's just my little play toy, honestly. I never use it for races or anything like that because it just would not be able to really compete against the other stuff. Finally, we have the Inverto Coquette, based off of the newest Corvette Stingray. And this thing has gone through an amount of colors. It used to be yellow, it used to be black, it used to be chrome, and now it is red. And I still like it red. I don't use this thing as much as I used to, but I definitely like it in this. I don't recommend you ever add the spoiler on this car because it just looks so much better without it. Looks a lot more clean. And yeah, we're going to be taking this thing out to the next garage. The next garage is a whopping far distance from it, literally a walking distance away. We have the Weasel Plaza. And this one is my classic and muscle, just anything. It's the old car garage, I'd say, the vintage cars. Anything under the 2000s really belongs in here, except for that, okay? Just do not worry about that. That is the one car where I really did not know where to put it at all with how everything is just running around. It will probably move in the future, but for now, it's going to have to sit there, so just don't worry about it. What we're going to start off with is my Phoenix, and this is probably one of the cheapest vehicles I own, to be honest, because I found it off the street, and I just customized it from there. But the reason why I'm never selling this thing is I just love the way I made this look. I love the back spoiler, I love the wheels, and I like the paint job and everything. This car, inspired by my friend Josh, who we flew that thing into a bunch of Titans before. This thing, yeah, it's a keeper. Now for the lowriders, I'm just going to fly through them and tell you like what I think about each one. Now the Buccaneer, this is the all-round like to buy lowrider if you want to at least own one. This is the most fun. It has the best physics. It's great at driving and it looks great and like straight out flattened out. The different liveries and vinyls you could have on this thing. It is the all-around best lowrider. The Voodoo is just it's there's nothing really special about this, but if you personally like it, then I suggest you can own it because I really love my Voodoo. Has this like Halloween, really dark black Halloween theme to it, and I've also had a lot of memories in this car, so yeah, that's why I like keeping it. The Primo. So what I'd say for this is that this thing, when you rise it fully up, you can go on two wheels on this thing easily, which makes it something special on its own. It's really unique and fun to just do that in its way. There's not many other cars, and like other cars you'd straight out flip over when you go on two wheels. This thing you could actually try to two-wheel it and try to manage it and see how long you could go for it. And it has an insane wacko customizable interior to it that I love. I love the way how mine is just red and everything. So yeah, that one's probably staying for a while. And this one is obviously staying for a very long time because this is my first ever lowrider. This is probably the best all-around well-looking lowrider, I would say. And you might wonder what's up with the pink. And I personally love the pink. I mean, it's great. It's loud. It's mad. And I love the zebra and everything. The wheels, too. Those are one thing I especially love. I remember when I first got this thing. Yeah, it just looks so great from all angles. Based off of the, Lincoln Continental and stuff. So, yeah, we're going to have this is my military Casco. And just pretty much, sometimes I love to just try to make random cars look as military as possible. And one time I did this. I made my friend customize a car that was a Casco, and he turned it into a military Casco, and I loved his so much that I had to make my own. And yes, this thing is actually a really like fast, great handling classic car. I would recommend it, even though it's kind of a waste at the same time. But yeah, with this like little military heritage spec here, it looks like it went through some like Vietnam War or something like that. But yeah, next up is the Sterling GT, obviously in our classic car challenge. It's the one I used. One thing special about this is it actually renders in your character opening the doors like that, grabbing all the way down, which it doesn't do on the Osiris and other cars. Yeah, it's worth it, I must say, but it's worth it if you're really rich. If you're not, I wouldn't suggest buying this. I really don't use it that often, but other than that, I am glad I own it. And next up is a car that I won't probably be selling for a while, and this is the Coquette Classic, just because I love the way I made this look. This is the only chrome vehicle I have in my whole collection, and my god, it just works so well on this vehicle. I love the way they designed it, too. The back concept look. It kind of reminds you of the Fast 5 Stingray concept. Over here, we have my Mamba, based off of the AC or Shelby Cobra. And if you own this thing, I would recommend that you drive this in the, if you ever have a sports classic event in races, that you drive this, because it's extremely fun to drive, and it's pretty quick. It is actually really fun to just mess around in free mode and just drive this thing around. But I wouldn't say, you know, spend your whole money on it, because it doesn't get used that often. But yeah, either way, we have the Jelly Bean right over here, as we always called it in our crew. And if you're wondering what's wrong with mine, it's actually, it's you know, I personally did this. It's kind of cool. It's got the no roof and everything on that, like that. But yeah, I love the orange, and I rarely ever use the Panto, to be honest. But you gotta kind of own one. You never know when there's a time and a place that you need a Panto. We are entering the 4th garage, and this one is my straight out race car garage, and you will see this once you enter. It is definitely what you would call the race car garage. So yeah, obviously you probably wonder where all the cunning stunts vehicles of mine are at, and this is where they are. Voila, we have entered. And yeah, almost every single car, in fact every single vehicle in this garage has some sort of livery or spec on it. But yeah, we're going to start off with the Body 801R. This is the only bike I own in this game, just because I am not a motorcycle person or motorbike person at all. I'm sorry if that hurts anyone watching this. But when you're a car person, you learn to not be a motorcycle person. But yeah, I mean, the reason why I own this is that you kind of have to if you have a big collection, you know, for stunting, other stuff in case you ever need a bike, or for bike races. It's nice to have one custom one. And I've always had this Body 801R spec ever since like day one of this game. You could go find like really old videos of mine. I think I still like drove this around with this like exact paint scheme. So right off the bat, we have the Dinka Jester race car based off of the Acura NSX, and this, I love this car so much because I love the way I designed this one. Obviously, there's a red secondary color on this car that you cannot change. So it's usually if you want to go red and black or red and white. But I tried red and red, and it just creates a weird, unique color scheme that I've never seen before, and especially with white wheels that I have here. I wish they could be more white, in fact, honestly, because they're a bit gray in this game, but that's as bright as they could go. But yeah, this thing has a great sound. The Jester race car is just the sports car that you also have to own for like races, because they're incredibly good. They're really worth it and fun to drive. Along with that is its competitor, the Masacro race car, and this one is fully blacked out, and you have I had the carbon hood on the front, and the way with this design and the white lining, this thing looks mean like this. I love the way that this one is designed as well. So I'd take this one over my stock red one that I have up in Richards Majestic. But yeah, these two right here are incredible to use in long haul or any main race in general. They're really good, really worth it. I suggest that you buy them. Next is the Sultan Custom that I have here with that new update of the two vehicles, and this might be going in the future. I'm not sure about it. Obviously, it has the Princess Robot bubblegum thing on the side and stuff like that. That's the way mine has always been. But yeah, I rarely drive this. It's not really useful because it's not 4-seater, unlike the original. Because when you add all the Benny stuff to it, it just becomes a 2-seater, 2-door for some reason. It probably is going in the future, and this might be going as well. This is my trophy truck, and I actually really like the way I did this. The red metallic with the yellow flames up here is really nice, but I never drive this as well, which is pretty sad. But this thing, you can take all the parts off of it, and if you don't believe me, you really can take like all the parts until you have a fully roll-caged version of it. And it's really fast. It's great at off-roading. I haven't taken this thing like up the side of Mount Chiliad yet, so I will have to see. And up next is one of my new favorite sports cars added to this game, the Ocelot Lynx, based off of the Jaguar F-Type, mixed in with some other stuff here. It's like I'd see some Aston Martin and Maserati if you changed up some of the bumpers and stuff here and there. If you're wondering why it has some of like the British stuff onto it, I mean, I'm just representing Britain, you know, with this car. I really like I like the livery for it in this spec. And one thing I really like is the red wheels with the red mirrors on the side. So yeah, the problem is that this car has a huge base price. It's over in the millions for a sports car, which is insane. But once you do buy it, I'd say it's a really good looking car. And right over here is the Tropos Rally, based off of the Lancia Stratos, one of the most legendary rally cars in the world. I'm glad they've added this to this game, but One thing is it's a bit short. It's like really smushed. It's like a tiny little bean car, honestly. It's just a little toy thing. And here we have the 3 big cunning stunt hypercars or supercars. So right here we have the Emperor ETR1 based off of the Lexus LFA with Subaru, Toyota, or Scion FRS, GT86, either you get the idea. And then some of my friends said Nissan GTR for some reason, which I do not see at all. So either way, this thing is actually really sick. It's really good. It could compete against those two right there. It's really quick. I mean, it does not look as fast as these, but it in fact is. And I'd say it's a worth it buy. I love the black and red version that I have here. It goes really well with the car. And up next, we have the Annis RE7B based off of the Mazda 787B along with Audi R18. Yeah. And when I originally saw this thing, it does look like a hydroplane, if you know what hydroplanes look like. The little front cabin or the middle cabin you have right there, and the whole shape of the thing looks a lot like it. And sadly, yeah, there's a glitch, or there was a glitch, I don't know about it, but if you have the other spoiler, this thing is insanely quick against all the other cars. But I just like it with this, and you can change, there's a glitch also to change the color of the wheels, but I also like it like that. So in general, this is a fully upgraded owned vehicle, but it really looks stock. But in fact, I have a pearlescent on it, which looks really nice. I call it my R2D2, which is my little fun nickname. And over here, we have the Progen Tyrus. And this thing is clearly based off of the McLaren F1 GTR. But the funny thing is that if you take if you put different spoilers and you make it all orange, you will see a lot of Saline S7 in the front end. So, in fact, yeah, I think with the front grille and everything, I think that's what they were going for with the front end of it. But yeah, I painted mine in a way to match a certain designed McLaren F1 GTR right there on the screen. And I love every little thing about it, except for the rear. The rear, like, on the real GTR, the back end kind of slopes up, whereas this thing has, like, a slanted. If you could imagine, like, mean eyebrows, how they kind of, like, have a bowl shape, versus this has, like, a frowny, like, sad face with the arc on the rear, which is, yeah, if you get what I mean, I really don't prefer that over the real thing. I don't like how they made that change. But yeah, so we have garage number 4 done. And by the way, I do love the doors. It actually has butterfly doors, and they didn't go cheap out and, like, get scissor doors or anything like that. We are moving on to the final garage, and it's tinsel towers all the way up there. This garage is my sedan and a couple miscellaneous, and actually my really luxury elegant garage, I'd say it is, because you'll know what I mean once I enter. So immediately, yeah, you see a bunch of different vehicles. So you have 3 off-road vehicles back there that are all red, and I shoved them into this garage because this is the best one where I had the space. It was the best way it kind of all worked out. I have those there, but I have this, which is, it's always going to be staying because I'm a big Mercedes E-Class or E63 fan. I love the coupe version. I love the way you could customize this hood and the wheels, and it's actually really fun to drift around this thing. Especially the lip spoiler is a great add-on. This is a Schwarzer based off of the Mercedes E63 AMG coupe. And over here, we have the Karen Kuruma Armored, clearly based off of the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, mixed in with maybe some Subaru WRX, who knows really. But this car has always been in here ever since it came out, and believe it or not, this car has been to the moon, or space in general, in the sky, if you know what I mean by that. It's just kind of my mess around. Don't take the design too seriously. The chrome and ultra blue is just for fun, just for, great looks of it. And, yeah, it's pretty useful. I do recommend you own a Karen Kuruma Armored if you don't. Oh, and over here is the Brawler. Now, with other vehicles added to this game, I rarely use this one, but I still own it, and, ever since it was released, it's a pretty good vehicle. It's great at off-roading, and I'm glad they added it to the game, based off of the Rally Fighter. It's a great all-around vehicle, but for some reason, it's named Coil in this game, which is practically like Tesla or Lotus, which, I don't know, I think they just gave up on brands. Next up is the Vapid Contender, based off of the Toyota Tundra, mixed in with some Ford F-150 here and there. Mine is actually, a lot of people said this in the video, that it's based off of Roman Atwood's truck, which he calls it Clifford. And you'd be right by that. I straight out designed it. When I first saw pictures of this being released, I knew I had to make that in this game, because, why not? It looks good like it either way. And this thing, I would say that if you own a Sand King and you have the money for this, I'd swap out the Sand King for this. Even though this is actually a lot smaller than the Sand King still, I personally think that it's a lot quicker, it's a lot better looking, and it's a lot more fun to drive. After that, we have the Rumpo Custom, and I would not own this thing. In fact, this thing would never be driven if it weren't for us starting a series called Rumpo Madness, and that is with, like, everyone in our crew owns one of these, has a different color, has different nicknames for it. This thing's called Red Rumpo, and the reason why we decided to start a series with this thing is that they're incredibly really fun to drive because they have really jelly, springy suspension that makes it really good. Plus, these things are insanely top heavy, so they could really flip over and you could create some madness. Plus, they're freaking insanely off-roaded spec vans. Like, who doesn't want to have some madness go down with that? So, yeah, I'd say, I mean, it is worth it. I would say it is worth it if you buy it, but, you know, just be careful with what you spend your money on. So next is the Grotti Bestia GTS, clearly based off of the Ferrari FF or GT4 Lusso. And this car may not be staying forever because I owned it when it came out and I enjoyed driving it, but right now I don't drive it as much and it could gain me some money. So with that, I do in fact love the color. I kind of based it off of Chemise FF, and then I had my own black wheels and other stuff added to it. But yeah, either way, it's still a good-looking car. It has a couple weird things here and there, like the rear tail lights, I'd say, come from sort of like a Subaru BRZ type thing. And over here we have the Annis Elegy based off of the Nissan GTR clearly. And, a lot of people own this because it is actually free, which is really nice of Rockstar. So yeah, you just get one for free and then customize it and stuff. My only problem is that the back, they made it a lot more like tall looking and a lot more fat and chubby compared to the actual thing. So the back end just does not look as pleasant, but the front end looks great. The way I designed mine off of was actually another Roman Atwood based thing, and it's off of his GTR clearly. Actually, I just realized both of his cars that I replicated are facing each other in this garage, which is nice. But yeah, either if it wasn't or if it was not based off of his car, I think it looks great in this spec, these wheels in this color and everything. And over here we have my Carbonizer, and for the longest time, I used to own one, and then I sold it for a long period of time, then I bought it back, and yeah, normally I'd have this thing red with like black wheels or something, but I decided to go a bit unique. I have chrome wheels with this really elegant paint job. I think it's like candy red mixed in with some really dark red. And if you don't know, it is a Grotti, so this would be Ferrari, but it actually is mostly based off of the Aston Martin Zagato, because you could easily see that in the rear. But in the front, in all around, I'd call this thing like the Ferrari California of the game, because it has a hardtop roof that could just be, it could go down and become a convertible, which is great. But yeah, a lot of people have called me out for, how good this thing looks and how beautiful it is. So yeah, I respect that. And yeah, over here we have the Dubachi 770. Clearly based off of the Aston Martin 177, and if I look at the front end of mine, I actually noticed some Corvette Stingray for some reason, the newer gen. For some reason I see that, and then the back you might see another more like Subaru BRZ type thing again, or who knows what you see in the back. But either way, it's still a good car. I wouldn't recommend owning this at this point because it's kind of died off. It's not really a needed car, in fact, that it's sports. So yeah, you get a lot of wheel spin, not the greatest handling or grip or anything like that. But yeah, not much to really say. And over here is my Rapid GT based off of the Aston Martin V8 Vantage right here. And this could be sold, but for now I keep it. I just randomly bought it before. Actually, it has like a really nice exotic brown look to it, which I personally like. I like the spoiler, I like everything about it, and it's insanely quick. It's really underrated how fast this thing is. But that is going to cover this garage and every single other garage out there. We have toured all of them, and oh my gosh, I've done so much talking. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully you guys have made it to the end. You must seriously care about my collection if you've watched the entire video. I'm not sure if there'll ever be a garage tour in the future, depending on how many garages they add to this game or how many changes I make, but for now, this is the updated collection that I own. Thank you guys for watching. This will be JackUltraGamerr signing off.